and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
Prince William recently broke his silence on a matter that has long been the subject of public speculation. For years, the 41-year-old prince has borne the weight of royal responsibilities, intense media scrutiny, and deeply personal tragedies. Now, as he approaches his 50s, he is finally opening up about the silent battles he has faced behind closed doors. In a surprising revelation, Prince William admitted to truths that many had feared were hidden beneath his composed public persona. His confession confirmed long-standing suspicions about the toll his childhood experiences took on him. From an early age, Prince William was protected by his family and adored by the public. However, the traumatic events of his youth, including the breakdown of his parents' marriage, their eventual divorce, and the devastating loss of his mother at the age of 15, left deep emotional scars. While many believed he led a picture-perfect life, few realized the extent of his inner struggles. Born on June 21, 1982, at St. Mary's Hospital in London, William is the first child of King Charles. As a member of the most prominent family in the United Kingdom, one might assume his life was a fairy tale, but reality told a different story. From the moment of his birth, his life was far from ordinary. Despite being raised in luxury, his mother, Princess Diana, made it her mission to provide her sons with a sense of normalcy and grounded upbringing. Meanwhile, it has also come to light that the interview with his mother, Diana, was obtained through deceptive means, using fake documents, and went on to make lurid and false claims about the royal family, claims that exploited her fears and heightened her paranoia. Princess Diana was determined to give her sons a more down-to-earth upbringing, taking them to places most royal children never visited, such as homeless shelters, AIDS clinics, and even McDonald's, so they could witness the real world beyond the palace walls and their privileged status. Yet, despite her best efforts, there were things even she couldn't shield them from, like the chaos of her troubled marriage to King Charles. While Diana showered William with love, she also confided in him about her personal struggles, at times sharing more than a young boy should have to bear. She often referred to William as her little wise old man, treating him more like a confidant and protector than just a son. When her marriage with Prince Charles came to a heartbreaking end, young William carried the burden of his mother's sorrow on his small shoulders. But nothing could have prepared him for what came next. On August 31, 1997, Princess Diana, the most beloved royal of her generation, died in a tragic car crash in Paris. William, who was just 15 years old at the time, was at Balmoral Castle in Scotland with his brother Harry when their father delivered the devastating news. While the entire world mourned the loss of the people's princess, William's personal grief was unimaginable. He later revealed that he spent years in a state of shock, unable to comprehend the loss of the person he loved most. During Diana's funeral, William walked behind her coffin alongside Prince Harry, Prince Charles, Prince Philip, and their uncle Earl Spencer. The sight of the two young boys, overwhelmed by sorrow, touched the world. However, this decision wasn't as simple as it seemed. Years later, William admitted he was unsure whether to join the procession, and it was his grandfather, Prince Philip, who gently encouraged him by saying, "If you walk, I'll walk with you." William later described the funeral procession as one of the hardest things he had ever done. In the aftermath of Diana's death, both William and Harry stepped back from royal duties, choosing instead to process their grief in silence. For years, neither brother spoke publicly about their emotions, leading many to believe they had managed to move on. But this silence came at a cost. In a recent and emotional revelation, William finally opened up about the profound effect his mother's death had on his mental health and the course of his life. This candid confession has offered a rare glimpse into the deeply personal struggles of a prince often perceived as emotionally reserved. Despite his royal stature, William was not immune to the challenges of mental health. For years, he buried his emotions, believing vulnerability was not an option. He immersed himself in his education at Eton College and later the University of St. Andrews, where he would meet his future wife, Kate Middleton, hoping to distract himself from his pain. Yet, no matter how much he tried to move forward, the grief lingered. In a BBC One documentary, Mind Over Marathon, William revealed that the shock of his mother's death still lives within him. "People say it can't last that long, but it does," he said. His brother Harry also supported the idea that painful memories deserve to be talked about. William, now the Duke of Cambridge, explained that learning to live with the loss of a parent was something he had to face, no matter how much it weighed on him. In a vulnerable moment, he emphasized that even 20 years later, the overwhelming shock remained the most significant emotional wound. He also shared that he felt his mother's presence at his wedding to Kate Middleton in 2011 at Westminster Abbey. Prince William's growth into a grounded and confident royal owes much to Diana's unconventional parenting. Both he and Harry were raised with humility, yet after her passing, many traditions were restored to royal protocol. William's educational journey began at Jane Minor's nursery and continued at Wetherby Preparatory School in London. He later attended prestigious institutions, including Eton College, a choice that marked a break from the traditional royal path of Gordonstown, where his father and grandfather studied. For his A-levels, William focused on geography, biology, and art history, earning an A in geography, a B in art history, and a C in biology. He showed a keen interest in leadership, serving as captain of both the swimming and football teams, and excelling in water polo. His time at Eton reflected a more modern approach to royal upbringing. To ensure his privacy, the royal family reached an agreement with the media that William would not be treated as a public figure during his studies. John Wake, head of the Press Complaints Commission, emphasized the importance of allowing William to develop privately during his academic years. However, his student life wasn't without its challenges. William suffered a serious head injury in June 1991 when he was accidentally struck by a co-worker driving a golf cart. The injury caused a depressed skull fracture, requiring surgery at Great Ormond Street Hospital and leaving him with a permanent scar. Later, in 1999, he sustained another injury, breaking a finger that required surgery to prevent further complications. After finishing his studies at Eton, William pursued a military career. During this period, the official divorce between Prince Charles and Princess Diana was finalized, a development that deeply affected him both emotionally and mentally. As the eldest son, William increasingly felt the need to shield his younger brother and mother from the media's relentless scrutiny. Diana, as many believe, was failed not only by a system but also by a rogue reporter who used deceit to gain access to her vulnerability. Prince William believes that it wasn't just a rogue reporter who failed his mother, but also the leaders at the BBC who turned a blind eye instead of asking the tough questions. Throughout his adolescence, William was forced to live under constant public scrutiny due to the increasing media attention surrounding the royal family, especially him and his brother, Prince Harry. This experience deeply impacted William's views on privacy and shaped his relationship with the press. Similarly, witnessing the breakdown of his parents' marriage significantly influenced his approach to relationships and marriage. As a result, William navigated his romantic relationships with careful reflection and caution, eventually finding a balance between his public role and personal life. The separation of his parents and its aftermath also helped shape his understanding of his future royal responsibilities. Inspired by his mother's humanitarian work, William later followed in her footsteps, carrying forward her legacy. In recent years, Prince William has emerged as a powerful voice in the movement for mental health awareness. Determined to break the stigma around grief and mental health, the Duke of Cambridge has spoken publicly about the impact of his mother's death and his own emotional struggles. In an interview with GQ, William admitted that being open about his feelings has been transformative, shifting his perspective, no longer seeing vulnerability as a weakness, but rather as a sign of strength. He shared that he is now in a much better place emotionally, where he can talk about his late mother more openly, honestly, and lovingly. However, he acknowledged that reaching this level of acceptance took nearly 20 years, and at times, the grief is still overwhelming. He also described how difficult it was to mourn her publicly, noting that unlike most people's grief, his loss was witnessed and known by the entire world. The relentless media coverage of his mother's death left him feeling trapped, and silence became his only refuge. But that wasn't the end of it. William expressed deep sorrow not just for himself and his family but also for the public, saying, "Not only let my mother down and my family down, they let the public down too." In his conversation with journalist and politician Alastair Campbell, the prince shared his sadness that his wife, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, and their children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, never had the chance to meet Princess Diana. He longed for his mother's guidance and wished she had been part of his family's life, emphasizing how heartbreaking it was that they would never know her. Despite breaking his silence on grief, Prince William didn't stop there. In 2016, alongside Prince Harry and Princess Catherine, he launched the Heads Together campaign to raise awareness about mental health and to encourage people to seek help without shame. William has been remarkably honest about his own battles and hopes to inspire others to speak up. He has remarked, "Mental health was a great taboo. If you were anxious, it's because you were weak, but of course, we all are. It's just that few of us speak about it." He also criticized the toxic masculinity that discourages men from opening up about mental health issues. Since then, Prince William has championed numerous mental health initiatives. He helped launch Shout, a 24/7 crisis text line that supports people struggling with mental health challenges, and Mental Health at Work, a platform that offers mental health resources for employers and employees alike. He has furthered the conversation by engaging in open discussions with athletes, celebrities, and mental health professionals to normalize dialogue around mental well-being. Much like William, Prince Harry also struggled deeply with the loss of their mother. However, the way Harry processed his grief differed significantly from his brother's approach. His path through mourning, though equally painful, unfolded in a way that helps explain the contrasting personalities and decisions that have since shaped his life. In a recent interview, Prince Harry made it clear that he had buried his grief much deeper than his brother, Prince William, and finally unearthing it years later proved to be all the more painful. The therapy he eventually sought, at William's suggestion, revealed the immense emotional burden he had been carrying since childhood. The different ways the brothers dealt with their loss may, in part, be explained by their ages at the time of Princess Diana's death in August 1997. Harry, only 12 years old, was arguably too young to fully grasp the magnitude of what had occurred. He even came to accept not having a mother as something normal. But what was even more surprising was Harry's admission that he had only cried twice since his mother's passing, once during her funeral and once afterward, a striking contrast to the national outpouring of grief. Watching a mourning nation express such powerful emotion, young Harry found it confusing that so many strangers were crying for someone they had never met. This emotional distance did not go unnoticed. At the time, the royal family was criticized for appearing disconnected from the public's grief, especially as they remained in Balmoral following the funeral at Westminster Abbey. Princess Diana was later laid to rest in a private ceremony on an island at Althorpe House, the Spencer family's ancestral home near Northampton. While the world may have seen it as closure, the pain lingered for her sons. Earlier this year, Harry once again opened up about having shut down his emotions for nearly 2 decades and the difficult task of understanding the psychological toll that kind of detachment can have on a young boy. His recent revelation that he came close to a breakdown in his late 20s adds even more depth to his journey. Now, more open than ever, Harry has described the rawness of his pain in emotionally intimate terms, speaking of the simple, primal comfort he missed the most, the loving hug of a mother. He called Princess Diana the best mother in the world and a great hugger, expressing in a heartwarming moment of vulnerability how much he misses that part of family life. He said that his mother remains a constant presence in his thoughts, just as she is in William's. Still, that presence does little to ease the pain. Harry shared that there isn't a day that passes where he and William don't think about her, wondering what kind of mother she would be today, what public role she might hold, and the difference she could be making in the world. Although Prince William's journey has been marked by both privilege and profound pain, from his early days as a young prince to the devastating loss of his mother and the heavy burden of royal duty, he has worked to turn his grief into a force for good. By speaking openly about mental health and personal loss, William is redefining what it means to be a modern royal, leading not only with responsibility but also with empathy. Now, as a dedicated husband to Catherine, Princess of Wales, and a loving father to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, William is determined to build a future where emotional well-being is given the attention it deserves, both within his family and across society. His honesty about his mother's death and its lasting emotional impact illustrates the journey he's made, from a boy overwhelmed by sorrow to a man ready to heal and help others do the same. He continues to show compassion for those navigating grief behind closed doors and extends understanding to people whose stories of loss remain untold. Prince William has gone to great lengths to honor Princess Diana's legacy, which he described as enduring, by holding close the values she instilled in him. As he prepares for his future role as king, one thing is certain: Prince William is not just leading with tradition, he is leading with heart. So, what do you think about Prince William's revelations? Do you believe he is handling his grief better now? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more, and be sure to check out the following videos on your screen. You're sure to enjoy them.